we'll start off easy. Just, what made you kind of get into your business? Where did you get your idea? What kind of sparked the need to open? And Alex, we'll start back again with you.
Cool. Yeah. So my story is really long because it's taken course over the last probably 7 years. So I'm going to try to digest this as fast as I can. So basically, my whole life professionally has been surrounding or been around tutorials in some form or fashion. So when I was in high school, a friend of mine asked me to help her with a video project. And because she's a girl and I was awkward, I uploaded the video to YouTube instead of helping her in person. And lo and behold, that video got way more views than anything else I had made at the time. So I kept making how-to videos and started getting paid. I started getting checks from Google like my sophomore or junior year in high school. And then throughout college, paid for a decent chunk of that with YouTube revenue. We got about 23 million views, 30,000 subscribers from all over the place, and got some pretty good media attention off the content that I created. And really just taking I always do tech support for my grandparents. So I always approach creating tutorials like that. And it just happened to take off. And basically what I've learned in that experience is the average attention span for content is generally pretty low. So if you think about how-tos, it's not really entertaining. People just want to learn what they need to and get on with their life. So really the average attention span for a video is about 2.5 minutes. And then when I got some media attention, I saw that there's a whole bunch of people that were wanting written versions of my tutorials, but they were all on YouTube, and YouTube doesn't support text. And so I thought that was interesting. And, as I tried to solve that problem myself, I found that I was managing a bunch of different tools to do that. And YouTube doesn't allow you to update videos. So that just became really complex. And long story short, as I was trying to solve my own problem, I started doing lean startup processes and just talking to a bunch of people, and really found that it was a bigger problem than just me providing content to my audience. Businesses have the same problem trying to educate their customers on how to use their products and onboard their employees and get them to know how to use their product. And so that's kind of how I got to where I am now. So it's been one very long, slow, progressive evolution to where we are now. But that's kind of my background and how I got to where we are now.
Awesome. Ty, you want to see if we...
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're in there. Yeah, so go ahead, introduce yourself. And then I jumped into the first question, which was, how'd you get into your business, where you got your idea, what kind of prompted you to take the plunge?
Okay, cool. So my name is Ty. I am one of the co-owners of Meraki Montessori. We are a Montessori-inspired wooden toy company here locally. We started our business in the fall of 2020. What inspired our business was our daughter. She will be 2 this July, but we started purchasing Montessori toys for her last summer, and we noticed a lack of diversity and representation for Black and Brown children. So that is something that inspired us, and that's kind of how we got started. So our whole mission is to create toys that promote diversity, representation, and inclusion.
That's amazing. Awesome. Rachel, let's hear from you.
Hi. So my partner and I, we worked in museums for probably over 7-8 years. We did a lot of exhibits. And so we were just like, man, this would be so amazing. And if we had a place that felt magical, felt like you were going into a different world. And then at the same time was reflective of the local art that was happening in that city. And Omaha has crazy good art here and good artists, and we want to be very inclusive and showing the incredible work from all different people here. And right now our theme is happily ever after, and we've got more in store once COVID stops kicking our butts. We'll bring more magic to you.
Very cool. What made you want to go cafe cocktail ways?
I mean, who loves a good drink? Raise your hand. Yay! We love the European style where you can get a great cup of coffee day or night. It's also it was really strong in the 90s. I felt you could go to a coffee bar And it's also part of the inclusiveness is that we wanted people, like, there's so many people who don't drink or, want to still hang out, but maybe not in like the traditional bar setting.
Absolutely.
So we do make the best hot chocolates in the world, throwing that out there. So, I'm going to just challenge every other country right now, but it's fun.
Switzerland's about to come at you.
Huh?
I said Switzerland's about to come at you.
Bring it on. I already knocked out Germany, so Switzerland.
Awesome. Chelsi, what about you? What made you want to get in your business?
Well, I started my art and graphic design along with photography back in 2017 under a completely different brand and a different kind of brand persona. It was very like dark, and I did a lot of a lot of Beetlejuice stuff. So I eventually like kind of geared away from that style of art and moved into stuff that's more like traditional logo work, a lot of like dainty lines and simpler colors and things like that. And so with that, I decided to rebrand in 2020 to Laurel Ives, which is what I am now. When I did that, I kind of did away with the photography, wanted to focus mostly on graphic design. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for, new design gigs to come in and stuff, I decided to start making jewelry as well. And that kind of blew up out of nowhere. And I actually just opened a shop last month. Within like 2 months of me starting to make jewelry, which is awesome. I'm running a kind of not a promotion, but I'm running a thing right now where any of the proceeds from a certain line, I'm doing a bee theme line, is going to be donated to a bee conservatory. So I'm going to try and do some theme drops like that from here on out. Just kind of planning ahead and trying to figure things out. I wanted to make a pair of earrings that I liked for myself, and that kind of turned into people being like, oh, those are cute, you should make those. I'm like, all right. And so, and then also I've always just wanted to sell thrifted finds and like boho home decor stuff that isn't $30-$40 from Marshalls. And so I do a lot of antique shopping and thrift shopping, and I refurbish things and then I sell them in my shop too.
Awesome. And where's your storefront at?
So I am out near Tiburon Golf Course. So I'm on 168th and Giles. So it's out kind of west, which is funny because I live in downtown. So it's on the opposite side of where I'm at. But I'm Beautiful Soul Spa Suites. Okay. So it's there's a boutique here. There's some estheticians, and we're opening up 8 more shops downstairs. There's going to be a plant shop, someone who does Rocky. Another boutique is going to pop up, and we are actually going to have a few more spots open if anybody's interested in getting a storefront, so.
Great. And shameless plug, these are her earrings. I love them. So make sure.
I have 2 more of those pairs left, actually. So.
Okay. So then next question. So how was opening or growing your business during the pandemic? What challenges did you face, and how did you kind of overcome those? And Rachel, we'll start with you this time.
Golly gee. Pandemic was a fun time. So we started renovations on our building here in Benson the first week of March. So, and then we had planned to open in June, and we were like, man, life is beautiful and our dreams are coming true and nothing can stop us now. What's COVID? And we quickly, like, everything halted. So we weren't able to open until October 23rd. And the whole time we were paying rent, paying bills, paying everything to survive, and making no revenue. And then also because we hadn't opened like in 2019, we didn't get any grants, we didn't get any government help whatsoever. And I've heard that from a lot of people, that they're like, oh yeah, if you started this year, then good luck. So, and then after we were finally able to open, if everyone remembers, in November, capacity went down to 25%. So, I mean, most of the businesses that we talked to in the Benson area, they said that last November was the worst month they had ever had on record. Like, and that was our first month open. So we're like, We survived. It literally was just like, well, like, let's see if we survive next month, and like, we'll just keep going. And it's it's obviously it's getting better.
Yeah.
But it was a doozy.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Alex, what about you? I know you had told me in the past that this was actually one of your, you had some growth here in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy when you have one customer, because then you can say, hey, we 10x our revenue, and but hey, I'll take it. So yeah, the year started off like on a really down note. So like you get laid off from your job in January, and so I was like, okay, I had 3 months of runway to make things go, and just went all out on like sales, like outreach. I was doing so many demos a day and having so many different conversations and getting people further down the sales funnel. And then, when March came around, I think in the tech world, like there are some companies that have been remote anyway, but the sheer amount of like the shift to like 100% for some of them threw a lot of companies off. And so almost like all of the deals that we had been working on like fell through in March. And so, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but I would have said like, if it worked out really well, I could have had pretty close to a full-time job if some of those deals like actually went through. So that was really, really frustrating. But I would say like one of the blessings that happened was like unemployment was pretty bomb. So, leveraging that as kind of like a gateway, to kind of bridge a gap. So that was really helpful on my end, just to be able to focus on the business and still looking for other gigs to make ends meet. So, but that what's funny is in April we got our second, third, and fourth like recurring customers like all in 1 month. And I was like, that was awesome. And then in July we got our fifth, and so things started to look pretty good. And so like on my end, it's easy to say like, hey, we did pretty well. We still have a lot of work to go, or a lot of work to do to kind of get where we need to be. But all things considered, like last year, like it was really, really tough. But I think we're doing okay. So yeah, like and then we got that COVID grant, because when you're in business forever, you have to pay taxes. So we were fortunate enough to get that COVID grant. So that's kind of what got me off of unemployment for a while, and getting really close. So like right now, we only need, I think, like 8 or 9 more customers, and then I have a full-time job, and then we can start scaling from that point. So it's exciting. Obviously ebbs and flows, as every business owner will tell you, but
definitely.
I think all in all, I think all things considered, blessed to be in the position I am right now. So
good. And that actually leads, to a great follow-up to anybody out there. What were some of the high points, besides starting your business? Like, was there any, did you take the chance that you might not have? Did your family really rally around you? Like, tell us some of the good parts of 2020.
I can go.
Go for it.
I think one of the nice things about us was, so with us being, fully e-commerce, the building credibility, when you're not in stores and things like that was kind of nerve-wracking for us, but we were so fortunate to be connected with Made in Omaha, and we're in 2 of their locations. So in October, we fully stocked the kids section at Made in Omaha, Countryside Village location, and then their Old Market location. So that was awesome. And then just their exposure on social media helped with our, Instagram follows and such. But then we were connected with Love the Locals, which was a virtual showcase that happened in Lincoln.
Okay.
And so they helped promote our business, and it brought in quite a bit of revenue. So over the holiday months, from like Thanksgiving to Christmas, we had over 100 orders, and my husband and I were in our little workshop in our garage. And then another highlight for us was being on KETV. They were highlighting Black-owned business. So that was something that was really cool and led to great exposure.
Awesome. Chelsi, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can bounce off of that with like social media has been my one and only source of like getting new customers and even new clients and stuff. And just since rebranding and kind of establishing myself further on social media, like I just kind of merged my personal page into my business page on Instagram, and I'm only on Instagram. I have done so much networking in the last year that I have met tons of people that like just me and my kind of social anxiety persona would not let me normally do like in person. I'm not good at going to networking events in person or anything, but getting to do stuff virtually or through chat or just on social media and getting to support other people and getting that support back has immensely grown my networking. And that being said, like I've spoke to people at Made in Omaha, and I've worked with like a couple different other small businesses to do some, like we're going to be doing some giveaway bundles in the future. And I have actually the boutique owner that is next to me at the shop. Before I came to the shop, she promoted a pair of my earrings that she purchased. She didn't get a discount or anything, and that blew my sales up. I got 15 sales that day for that same pair of earrings. So it's just one of those things that like social media has probably been the biggest blessing to 2020 because everyone was on it.
Yeah.
Everyone was spending their yeah, they were just aimless, stuck at home, nothing to do. So they got on Instagram. But also at the same time, everyone else started making jewelry and everyone else started becoming makers and making their own businesses and stuff. And so there has been like, I don't want to say competition. I haven't felt any competition on social media at all. Like I feel like everyone's super supportive. Everyone's willing to like give tips to the same type of makers and willing to like purchase from other makers and share their product, even if it's similar and stuff. So yeah, I think just that kind of exposure has been great in 2020 specifically.
Awesome. Very good. What are some important first steps that a new business owner needs to take that maybe, you know, you didn't know about? What are some resources that you found the most helpful? Ty, you want to start?
Sure. Yeah. So I think the biggest things for us was setting our business up and like being structured and organized. You know, in the past, my husband and I had talked about entrepreneurship, but I feel like we weren't, you know, at a place in life where we could devote the time to it and just be organized. So we definitely had mentors who helped us along the way, you know, with getting things like our LLC, writing a business plan, connecting us to, you know, future investors and such. So one of the big things that I would say is make sure you are very organized and structured, but then have those things like your business plan. And I always have an elevator pitch ready too, because you never know who you're going to, you know, meet and be in contact with. So those were the biggest things that helped us in the beginning and are still helping us now.
Awesome. Rachel, what about you?
I've had a lot of people lately stop in and they're like, oh, you know, how'd you get started? And they want to get started as well. And I always tell them that the first thing you have to do is like, you need a strong like support team. And I was like, none of this would have happened if I didn't have like an incredible fiance, an amazing family and friends. And I was like, I wanted to give up like every single day. And it was insanely hard. So I always tell people, I'm like, the first step is like, make sure you've got an amazing partner, and then just family and friends that will just love and support the heck out of you, and then go from there.
Yeah. Chelsi?
So very similar, like I just had a really great support system. For me, like I did not anticipate being where I'm at right now at all. I was able to cut my full-time job down to part-time and like extremely part-time, like I'm barely in work, which is great. Like that's what I want. I want this to be a full-time thing, but I didn't anticipate it happening this soon. Didn't anticipate opening a shop this soon or anything like that. So for me, kind of going with what Ty said, like I'm learning to be more organized because I was not prepared. I wasn't ready for it.
Sure.
So I didn't start off with a business plan. I didn't start off with a budget. I just started making stuff and selling it. And now I'm trying to figure stuff out. So
We're
now
a little bit backwards.
yeah, I'm doing it the other way. I don't recommend it, but that's just how it happens. So, but yeah, I'm looking into getting an LLC. I'm looking into what steps I need to take to start preparing for tax season for next year. Like what I need to do for charging sales tax, and like getting all that information that like nobody told you about up front. Like everyone just wants to Venmo everybody, and like, yes, I prefer that, but at some point I'm gonna have to pay taxes on things. And so this is actually really helpful because I feel like everyone else on this panel might have their stuff together a little bit more than I do right now. So,
We're all figuring it out as we go.
Yeah. But yeah, a support system, and then just being willing to jump into things. When like with getting the shop, it was just happened like no preparation, and I jumped on it the weekend that it opened up, and I have made at least one sale every single day from the shop itself, not just online. So
Amazing.
yes, thank you. So it's just a matter of like taking that leap, trusting your gut, and just going for it.
Great. Absolutely.
Can I add to that?
Please go ahead.
Sorry. Chelsi, when you talked about finances and tax season, we just, I guess you could say, hired an accountant. And so I would definitely stress that is just making sure when you first start that you organize yourself financially, whether that be, you figuring out on QuickBooks or hiring someone. But it's so important because I feel like it took us so long to prepare our business taxes this year because, we got our LLC a couple months after we launched. So that was really tough. But yeah, definitely keep the finances in order for sure.
Yeah. Well, especially your first tax season, you don't know what you don't know until you don't know it. And then you're like, oh gosh. Alex, let's hear from you. What resources, did you find helpful? What are some of those important first steps?
Yeah. So, we're kind of talking about like structure and organization first. So I'll kind of touch on those initially. There's a lot of like really interesting resources here. So Entrepreneurship Legal Clinic, the director is Brett Stows down in Lincoln. And that is a absolutely wonderful program. Basically for, new entrepreneurs, like they can come into there and say, hey, I need an LLC. I need like a trademark. I need something, they just don't do patents, I believe, but you can walk in and, you get put on a list and they'll do their services for free. And the only thing that you pay for are the government filing fees. So that's a wonderful resource in the community that I would recommend, entrepreneurs take advantage of, because that program is fantastic. Of course, the caveat with that is, they are the folks that are doing the work are like student attorneys. And so, you have to just be cognizant of like, it's probably going to take a full semester for that work to get done. But I mean, for me, I'm like, it wasn't a big rush, like, something that we just needed to be in progress. And so for me, I'm like, what a wonderful resource, because I don't know anything about that. I didn't have a huge budget. I'm very happy with waiting a semester if that's what it takes. And so I've been I was a client of theirs for several years, actually. And now I volunteer with them all the time. So I can't, speak higher of them because they're such a good group. And we're also talking about accounting too. Mm-hmm. So super, super, super important that you have your business separate from your personal finances. So, very first thing you should do is set up an LLC. I personally hate LegalZoom, but if that's what you have to do, like get something set up and fix it later. Like just literally get something set up and go to the Entrepreneurship Legal Clinic and have them spruce it up later. But having something is better than nothing, because you need to have the separation between your personal and your business assets. And then also you make sure you like your sales tax ID, get your like an accounting software. I'm a weirdo. I use a tool called Xero, Xero versus QuickBooks, but they both do the same thing. But it's so nice because as you make purchases, oh, by the way, you also have to have a business bank account. So as soon as you get your LLC set up, as soon as that gets approved, go to the bank, get an account set up, one that doesn't have any minimums, because you'll be riding zero for a while. At least I have. So get a bank account set up, get a debit card, and then every time you make a purchase, if you have it hooked into your accounting software, the nice thing is now you can start segmenting that up by type of purchase. So is this a meal with a client, or is this like a subscription to some software that I use, or is this blah, blah, blah. So what's really nice though is like, if you commit like one day a month, I always do the last day of the month to what's the term called? I'm not an accountant. My sister-in-law would kill me for missing this term. Whatever, like reconcile. Once you reconcile, if you just commit like a day, like last day of the month, to reconciling that, anytime somebody asks you for your financials, like it's a super easy like pull a report, because it's already taken care of and it's all segmented out. And when you do taxes, you literally just pull up expense type, and in TurboTax you just put it boom, boom, boom. Like my business taxes probably took me like 3 hours.
That's awesome. Amazing.
Sorry, I have so many different things. Like early on, like you're doing things like business model canvas and value proposition canvas. Like those are really good early exercises to make sure that you think of all the different components of your business early on, right? Like, are your value propositions matching the customer types that you're going for, right? Like not every business has like one type of customer, like they're segmented out. And so how do you approach those? Like what value propositions matter most to each one? One thing too is like I've had like really bad mentors or people I took really bad advice from, like in the past. And so something that I would be just telling people to be cognizant of is you can't just like ask somebody to be a mentor. Like at least in my experience, that's very hard. Like I think the way that I've kind of approached it is reach out to people who are doing something similar and like are further along than you are, and just ask them for like advice, right? Because like they've been there, they've quote unquote made it. They're going to have a lot more lessons learned along the way than you have, and so you can use that and hopefully not make the same mistakes that person did in the past, and just build like an organic relationship with them. I think that matters a lot, because advice, I mean, I'm telling this advice and it's all free, so take it for what you will, but advice is free, and so you always have to take it with a grain of salt. But particularly if the person that you're getting advice from has no idea like what industry you're in or like what you're trying to do.
Sure.
So I know it sounds like really obvious, but even when you're getting advice, like stick to your guns. Like if you're super passionate about like one particular thing, like stick with it. It's fine. And don't be afraid. Sorry, I feel like I'm just talking and talking, but so many times I see folks that like are striving for perfection, and I do that too, and I'm guilty of that too. But it's so important just to be scrappy and get something done, like versus nothing. It's like what's the cliche, like the enemy of perfect is good, or whatever, something like that. Like it's so true. So anyway, that's all. I'll shut up now.
No, you're fine. So Chelsi, you touched on this a little bit, but what has, what's the impact of social media on, your business practices, your marketing strategy? How have you guys been able to incorporate that into your business plan? Rachel, if you want to start us.
Oh, heck yeah.
Some of your TikToks.
Oh my gosh. I gotta tell you, so I'm an older person and I don't do TikTok. However, my baristas and my bartenders, like a couple of them are super into it, and like one is like almost TikTok like famous right now. So they were like, oh, you got to get on TikTok and do little things. I have so many people that come in that are like, oh yeah, we saw you on TikTok. And I was like, how embarrassing. Come on in. Like, so basically like, I will make a fool out of myself for money. It's fine. But I am all about the social media. And if there's one thing I know, it's how to rock that. And I always tell people, Like, it's not enough just to be like, oh, I posted this on social media, good night. Like, you've got to be on social media. Like, I wake up in the morning, and if I'm not jumping out of bed like with my dog or anything, then I lay in bed and I just go through like hashtag Omaha, and I like it. I love it. It's Omaha. I love it. I'm here for it. And I have so many people that find us that way because they're like, oh, this place liked me, and like I should like them and go check it out. And like I connect with other businesses. If anyone mentions us, and I like retweet it, or I send it back out in our Insta story or something. And especially with, I mean, this kind of got touched on with the pandemic, like everyone was quarantined and they're all just on their phones. So it was like time to go, like start capitalizing on that attention span. And so we now have over 1,500 people on Instagram just in a few months. I got over 4,000 on Facebook in about like 2 months. And it was just like, you know, asking people questions. Like I'll sometimes be like, hey, who's your favorite princess? And you'll get a free charcuterie board. Like if you tell me, like, and just like dumb things like that like it gets people engaged and excited, and it gets them in the shop. And then I always tell people that are in here, like as they go out the door, I'm like, tell everyone you know, like friends, family, enemies, I don't care. Tell them about this place, get them back in here. And sometimes people are like, oh, can I take pictures? And I'm like, yes, you can. Take all the pictures, tag us. And we have our like our social media name on like all of our menus all over, so people can find us right away. Because that's where we're advertising through, you know, for more of our events and more reasons to come back. So you got to be on social media.
Ty, what about nope. We'll give you a second. Chelsi, you want to follow up on that? I know you are, you're good with your polls. You're good on your questions, you know, like what's kind of your favorite, like, how do you use Instagram?
Well, so besides this, my actual job is social media marketing. Like that's what I do. I also do like other marketing stuff, but I like the social media aspect the most. I spend like honestly about 2 hours a day researching social media trends and different things to do to get the views and to engage with your audience. And like Rachel said, like you have to be on it. You have to be commenting back to everybody. You can't just like stuff. You have to be actually engaging. And I do a very similar thing. I'll get on a hashtag and I'll go through and I'll like and comment and share and save. And because like you said, like that's a good way to build up. Like people will see like, oh, this random person liked and commented and shared my post. Like, I guess I'll go do that to theirs too. And it's kind of that like, for anybody that was in that like MySpace era, like the pick comment for pick comment, or, you know, like something along those things, that it's all coming full circle. It's coming back. But on Instagram, like some of my favorite things to do to engage is doing stories. I do a lot of polls. Like just today I posted like a come antique shopping with me. And so I took pictures and videos as I was going through the antique store of stuff that I thought I might like to buy, refurbish, and then sell it in my shop, and kind of let the people that are on my page decide, you know, if it's something that's worth my while investing in or not. Sometimes though, even if they say no, I get it anyway because I want it. So I use those polls a lot. I use those questions. Stories are just kind of where it's at. And then reels, I want to get into reels more. I'm trying really hard, but I am not like a face in front of the camera person. I like being behind the words opposed to behind the camera. So I'm trying to do more of like packaging products or putting jewelry together, or, you know, kind of things that people see my hands more so than my face. That's just how it is. But yeah, so I am trying to do more of that, trying to keep up with the trends, but everything changes with algorithms and like what's currently trendy. Like hashtags change on the daily, so I can't just keep copying and pasting the hashtags that I would normally use. I use different resources though. Like I use oh gosh, I'm not going to remember the name of it. There's a website that you can put in the hashtag that you want to use, and it shows where it ranks in popularity, if it's trending, if it's over popular, meaning if it's got so many people using that hashtag that you're going to be shut out from being seen. So I like using that stuff. HubSpot's my go-to for anything social media related. If I want to do some research on social media, like HubSpot in general for marketing is just fantastic, and probably one of the most, I guess, well-known and kind of respected marketing resources out there. It's a CRM, but they do a bunch of other stuff too. But yeah, so just make sure you're engaging, constantly engaging. It is important though to take breaks. So if you are constantly on there, if you're the only one running your company, take a weekend off and let people know that you're taking a weekend off.
Yeah.
I've done it like unsuccessfully twice in the last like 6 months. So, but yeah, you got to do that too. You got to take a break for yourself as well.
Yeah. Ty, I know you said you were an online retailer, so you had to, I mean, definitely probably utilize social media like heavily.
Yes. One of the things that is nice for us is that, similar to everyone else, I liked all the mom groups. So like there's Omaha Mom, and then there's like KC Moms. So I literally liked all the mom groups in the 50 states, and that kind of helped with some exposure for us. But in addition to that, I've been dabbling with Reels and TikTok, similar to everyone else. I really don't like being, you know, in front of the camera, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to make sure I look presentable. I got to make sure my outfits together, whatever. So a lot of times I use our daughter.
Oh yeah.
Here in the background. So being a mom entrepreneur is just great. But we use her a lot because we do test our prototypes with her and a couple of her little toddler friends. So, you know, that's kind of who we use for our social media. And then just to add to that, hashtags has really been nice for us. And that's kind of how I find out about other wooden toy makers. And through that, I've been able to connect. And with 3 different groups, we've done giveaways for the community. So that's been nice as well.
That's amazing. Alex, anything that hasn't already been shared that you've been, you know, doing with social media?
Not as much as I should be, honestly. I think that's something that I have a lot of room for improvement on. In terms of like tips and tricks on like how to build tutorials and people's learning preferences and all that stuff. So it's something that I've been lacking that definitely needs to get better. So
no, absolutely.
That's my short answer.
No, that's all right. How have you got, you know, starting a new business takes a lot of time. You know, how have you been able to manage a work-life balance while you've been growing? Hopefully you have anyway. And then anybody who wants to start, go ahead.
I could just start real quick. You know, I think for me, like having a work-life balance is something that's just like, I feel like in startup culture, which I'm very much not a fan of, like I think in like startup culture, there's this like emphasis that it's like it's all hustle, 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 and you're gonna forget about your friends, your family, like all this other stuff. And I just like I don't agree with it. Like I think you're gonna have to spend a whole lot of time, and you're gonna have to have sacrifices, and you're gonna have to give up some things. But it's also like super important to also prioritize, you know, friends and family, and you know, like even like your own time. So at least for like what we do is like during the week, it's super stressful. But you know, once it reaches like 5 or 6 o'clock, I'm kind of like done. And then on the weekend, I try to like remove myself like as much as possible. Like obviously I'll look out for, you know, customer support questions and things like that. But I really try to say like, okay, this is company time, and then this is like personal time. So I've seen like documentaries like with startups where like they're eating like ramen and it's like 4 in the morning and it's been like 2 weeks straight. I'm like, that's just not healthy. You know, eventually like it's gonna bite you, and when it does, it's not going to be good. So I've always tried to bridge that gap there.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll echo that. One of the hard things is that a lot of kind of like everyone else said, is that a lot of our sales come from social media. So honestly, more recently in the last couple of weeks, I have not posted to our social media to just kind of slow us down a little bit, because in addition to, you know, our website and sales, we've been doing custom pieces for like childcare centers. and not just 1 or 2 pieces, like enough for classrooms. So we've been trying to find that balance. And my husband, he, is a director in admissions at UNL, and he works like 50 hours a week. So in addition to him working, full time, and then me being a full-time stay-at-home mom, we try to find that balance and pick a couple days a week where we'll be in our workshop, and then, a weekend day so that we can kind of get orders out in a timely manner. But I will say that's been one thing that's been tough, is trying to make sure we can honor getting our orders out, within 3 days is what we like to say. Like, we process orders within 1 to 3 days. So it's a learning experience all the way around. But one of the things that, like I said, we do to create that balance is we'll say, there's 3 main days during the week that we'll focus on orders and then building up inventory. And then on the weekend, we usually pick a day. And the rest of the time, it's just us kind of debriefing from work and just having that free time.
I have a question for Ty. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Ty, so one of my favorite stories about like how a company got started is Warby Parker. Like, they threw up a website really fast, and obviously they couldn't make a whole bunch of glasses quickly. And what they did was they created like a wait list. And so they had hundreds or thousands of orders, and they couldn't fulfill them. And they were waiting like almost till the end of the year, or people are waiting months to get their glasses. So I'm curious, like, have you thought about having like a wait list? Like, people can still submit orders, but then just being more transparent on like delivery times. So this way you're still getting that revenue. They're not turning people away.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because we haven't, to answer your question, thought about anything like that. But I did tell my husband the other day, I was like, maybe we should just like put on our website, new products coming soon, or something, just to kind of like be like, we're still here, we're working on stuff. Because it gets so busy, because all of our pieces are handmade, and one of the hard things, and I meant to say this with starting a business during a pandemic, is we had to use certain, lasers and CNC machines, and a lot of our machines were on back order. And we're waiting on a replacement machine right now, and it's back ordered 2 weeks. So that kind of, puts a dent in things. But the wait list is a good idea. I'll definitely bring that up to my husband tonight, because we've been brainstorming all week. Like, okay, like, what should we do to not necessarily say we're not accepting orders, but to be transparent.
Yeah, because like any opportunity to still get revenue in the door, and if you can use some of that pre-order revenue to maybe even like look at, can I buy like more equipment, so then our production capacity can go up, or something like that. It was just an idea I had, so wanted to share.
No, I appreciate that. That is a good idea, because I literally have been rattling my brain this week, because like I said, you don't want to, and as you mentioned, turn off revenue by saying like, oh, like our website's down and things like that. But then it also makes me nervous too, as an entrepreneur, when you build up that audience and those customers, like, is like shutting down your website beneficial? But I like the idea of pre-orders, so I'll definitely take that.
So what I did when I went to do pre-orders for some of my earrings is I did a minimum capacity or a maximum capacity of pre-orders. So I had like one pair of earrings that a bunch of people wanted, and instead of me saying, okay, whoever wants to pre-order, and then I'll go from there, I said, I will do 15 pre-orders. And so 15 people got those orders in, and then I knew to get product or get the supplies to make 15 of that product, opposed to me doing a pre-order and then 200 rolling in and me being like, well, I can't get that much product, and then feeling like I left people out or something like that. So yeah, I did the pre-order thing, and it actually worked really well. And I'm anticipating, once I kind of get a better flow of like what kind of jewelry and stuff people want, because I'm still kind of figuring out what my personal style is for pushing out jewelry and mixing it with what my customers want. Just because my customers are all over the board with age and with gender and just with everything. Like, there's no consistency for me right now in that. And so I'm just trying to figure out, what do people want? What do I want to make? Because when it comes down to it, this was all me coming down from my corporate job to do something that I wanted to do. And so yeah, I'm just kind of making sure that, and that kind of plays into the balancing your work life and stuff. Like along with this, I'm also a full-time grad student, and I'm just trying to balance my day job, this job, grad school, now the shop, getting product made, and then my home life and my friends, which that's not very many, but you know, there's like a few people out there that still want to hang out with me. So, I've been kind of doing the same thing that like Alex said, is I take a very specific day. Like usually Saturdays are my days. I don't do homework on Saturdays. I don't do anything with work. Like I'll answer like emails, or if people send, you know, like I'm on social media anyway. So if people are sending something over Instagram or whatever, I'll reply to that. But I'm not going to worry about getting things made or getting things packaged and shipped or anything like that on Saturdays. And then like Tuesdays, I try to dedicate those specifically to school. And so that's specifically like days that I try to stay off of social media and stay away from like emails for work and things like that, and focus strictly on getting my schoolwork done. Otherwise that will get put aside, and so I can do things I want to do. Because let's be real, I don't want to be in school, but I am. So
Absolutely. And then we will kind of wrap up with how can the community support you most right now? And while everybody's answering, make sure you drop your social medias in the chat. And I will scoop those up and post them on YouTube when this gets on, and then also on our Facebook page, just kind of share out so we can make sure we can get you guys, you know, as many followers as we can. So Rachel, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah, I mean, what the community can do is just come out, like come play with me. Yeah, we're open Tuesday through Sunday. Everything from coffee to cocktails, and we have 8 HEPA UVC filters, so they actually like clean our air. They've been proven to disable the COVID particle. So even though we're all vaccinated, we still have those going on, and we still do mask mandates, obviously, just to keep everyone healthy and safe. But like, got a lot of reasons to come out, and here they are. Boom. Trivia on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, music bingo. Yes. It's so much fun. We do different themes of music all the time. And then Friday night's movie night, Sunday's board game BOGO. So if you bring in a board game to play, you get buy one, get one free drinks, which is like dope. Come on, everyone. And then happy hours from 6 to 8 throughout the week. And if you still feel like, you know, you're quarantining or you don't have the money to come out, the best thing you could do for a small business is like, share, comment again and again and again on anything they post. Sharing it on your own page is huge. So just, you know, love the heck out of your small businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. Chelsi, what about you?
Yeah, so following me on Instagram is definitely going to be where you're going to find me. I also have a website, which I have a different inventory in my shop versus online, just until I can kind of learn how to manage how to do both. But with my shop, it is open all the time. It's kind of a different setup that a lot of people aren't used to. Inside of Beautiful Soul Spa Suites, there's the multiple different providers, and then each provider has a door code. And so you actually type in a code, and if you would just message me, like we don't give out the code publicly on Instagram or anything like that, because we don't want everybody to have access to it. Otherwise that defeats the purpose. Basically you get invited in by us. So if you want the code, you just message me on Instagram, shoot me an email or however, and then I can get you the door code. And all you do is you come in my shop, the boutique, soon to be the other boutique, and I think the plant shop that's coming in as well. I could be wrong though, don't quote me on that, but we're all going to be open all the time to where you come in, you send us a picture of the item, the tag, and how you want to pay. And we either Venmo request you, we can send you an invoice. I know everyone does it a little bit differently. I do invoicing through Square, but I also do, you know, I can do Venmo or PayPal or however. I have all those set up too. And then you leave with the product. So I don't actually have to be here for you to buy from me in the shop. People get kind of weirded out by doing it. They feel like they're stealing. You're not. If you steal, you will get caught here. So just an FYI. But yeah, so there's always shopping online. I also am going to start doing story sales where I'm going to be posting a handful of things to my stories on Instagram that aren't going to be available online in the shop, or I'll run discounts on items that are either online or in the shop that you can only get the discount if you're active in the story sale. So that's going to be coming the next few weeks as well. And yeah, I dropped my Instagram down there. It's just Laurel Ives.
Perfect. Alex, what about you? How can the community support you best?
Yeah, I think for us, like we usually talk to a lot of folks that are involved with customer support and customer success. So if you are like a business that's looking to onboard folks to their product, or you're looking to scale your customer success team, like that's who we target and who we can help out the most. And so yeah, I'm pretty active on Twitter. So like you can reach me personally at Alex FYI, because nobody can spell my last name, and or just at FIO, FYI.io is our website. So nice and short.
Perfect.
But just I think everybody hit it, like just support your local entrepreneurs and local businesses, because they're the lifeblood of the community. And yeah, it's amazing, like where I forgot the statistic, but like your dollar goes a lot further if keeping it local. So
Really. All right, then Ty, we'll finish with you.
Yeah, so I think for us, we're in 2 store locations. We're in Made in Omaha, Countryside Village, and then Old Market. And sometimes we do have exclusive items just to those stores, more like Omaha, Nebraska types of wooden toys and things like that. So definitely supporting us there. And then you can check out all the awesome local makers there. Yeah. And then we're always on Instagram. Like I said, more recently, I haven't posted, but I'm going to take the wisdom I got from this panel today about pre-orders. But Instagram is where you'll find out a lot of information about us. And then we'll have some events coming up this summer that we'll be posting there as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Well, this has been an excellent hour. Thank you all for joining us, to our speakers, to our guests, to everybody here. Like I said, this will be posted to YouTube in the following week. And yeah, go to beanstack.dospace.org to mark that you were here. But thanks, guys.